home to the Ho-Chunk, Ottawa, Miami, and Potawatomi tribes.
Known as the birthplace of Northwestern University and located right on the coast of Lake Michigan.
Evanston, Illinois makes up less than 8 square miles of Cook County, and yet it is filled with history.
Tonight, we'll look at the past, present, and future of our city, listening to the stories and people that live beyond our campus. Welcome to Northwestern News Network's special report. I'm Jenny Huh.
And I'm Megan Leibowitz, and this is Evanston Beyond Northwestern. Now we've got a lot to get to tonight, so let's jump right into our top story. Tonight we start with a deadly shooting in the area of Green Bay and Ashbury that left 4 wounded and 1 dead last Sunday evening.
Today, Evanston's heart is broken. Any act of violence that occurs here tears at the fabric of our community.
Vanessa Kellison joins us now in the studio. Vanessa, what more can you tell us about what happened?
Well, according to EPD records, this year Evanston has seen more homicides than it has in any other year in the past 2 decades. In this past shooting, Sunday's deceased victim was identified by Cook County Medical Examiner as 17-year-old Carl Dennison. The other 4 victims were all between the ages of 14 and 18 years old. That 14-year-old is currently in critical condition at a local Evanston hospital.
And has the police said anything more about this incident?
Yeah, so there is no suspect in custody, but they said there really isn't a threat to the public as of now because it appears to be a targeted attack.
Well, thank you so much, Vanessa. In a statement on Monday, Evanston Mayor Daniel Biss says, quote, "As a city, we simply have to do better. We must redouble our investment in violence prevention and outreach efforts."
One of those investments in violence prevention is Evanston's gun buyback program. This Saturday, Evanston Police is hosting the 10th annual Stop the Violence gun buyback at the Mount Zion Baptist Church. Residents of Evanston, Skokie, and Northside Chicago can exchange a functioning weapon for monetary compensation. Carolyn Murray is a founder of the program, championing it ever since she lost her son Justin to gun violence.
When my son was killed, while we were still actively working on this program, the community came forward. People from all over the country had donated money.
This month, Evanston's Mcgowan Ymca celebrated its 136th birthday. During the Jim Crow era, there were 2 YMCAs in Evanston, one for white residents and one for black residents. NNN's Vanessa Kellison takes a look at the past and the present.
After Mia Neal's 2021 Oscar speech, Evanston made headlines.
He graduated from Northwestern University at a time that they did not allow blacks to stay on campus, so he stayed at the YMCA.
To some, that YMCA on Emerson Street
was the soul of the black community.
Today, it's a high-rise.
Evanston has this unique ability to try and paint itself as like, oh, we're this great progressive city that does all these wonderful things. And then when you dig deep into it, it's like, oh no, there's a lot of the same problems as the rest of the country.
Mcgowan Ymca membership was often denied to black residents. In 1914, Mcgowan Ymca helped construct a second Y here on Emerson Street for black Evanstonians. Robinson says it was a way to keep black residents away from Mcgowan.
Supposedly separate but equal, but it's not equal.
Yet the Emerson Y persisted.
1 in 5 African-American boys was part of the Emerson Street Branch YMCA.
The Emerson Y hosted everything from fashion shows to swim lessons to Nat King Cole.
And I asked, well, how much did it cost? He said, oh, he charged us $4. Yeah.
Through the height of the Jim Crow era, Robinson says the Emerson Y was like home.
I think that was the strongest impact that it had for the community. We were here and we were treated as family.
Then the National YMCA demanded desegregation.
Evanston waited for 15 years before they did that.
Changing policy didn't change attitudes.
The teen hangout room was called the Plantation Room. It looked like a plantation. I don't think that's really inviting. One of their fundraisers was an Aunt Jemima pancake breakfast. They used to do plays in blackface.
In 1969, citing the completion of its desegregation program, the Mcgowan Ymca closed the Emerson branch. The Black community resisted, trying to buy the Y back.
The Mcgowan Ymca didn't want to sell to the Black community. They said they'll rather tear it down and turn it into a parking lot.
Today, the Mcgowan Ymca still stands, but looks different on the inside. Monique Parsons, who wouldn't have been granted a Mcgowan membership just about 60 years ago, is now the first Black woman president.
If it were not for the Emerson Street YMCA and all the richness and the legacy and the stories and the wonderful people that came out of the experiences of Emerson Y, I would not be here.
But Parsons says there's still work to do.
I'm committed to make sure that this is a place that they feel comfortable in, that their children feel comfortable in, that their children's children feel comfortable in.
Generations of progress.
So I want to say thank you to our ancestors who put the work in, were denied, but never gave up.
Evanston's Y, a symbol of the past and the future. Vanessa Kelson, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Vanessa. The Emerson Y helped house many Black Northwestern students when they weren't allowed to live on campus.
As you look at Evanston, NNN takes a deeper look at those needing support in our community and available resources for the homeless. NNN's David DiNicola has the details.
My impression of Evanston was always what you see on Sheridan Road. But once I started serving this role, I realized that, there's a very big problem with homelessness in Evanston.
Tuan Nguyen helps North Shore families experiencing homelessness.
Some people have this perception of what a homeless person is supposed to look like. So that's one of the reasons why I love working for the coalition, because we educate people.
That's April Harris, a speaker for Chicago Coalition for the Homeless. Harris and her family first experienced homelessness in 2014 after having to relocate to Illinois for safety reasons.
There's so many different forms of homelessness. You never feel like it's going to happen to you, but you never know. And when it actually does, it hits you like a ton of bricks emotionally, because all you want to do is take care of you and your family.
A lot of the families that we actually deal with are what you would call as the invisible homelessness. And it's challenging because homeless benefits aren't really given to you unless you declare homelessness.
Sean Isles of Interfaith Action highlighted the risk that stereotypes can have, particularly in communities like Evanston.
It makes it difficult when you're advocating for more services for the unhoused, and you're getting pushback from the community.
Interfaith Action works with Connections for the Homeless to provide resources. Community stakeholders have joined together to identify more permanent options, such as a 24-hour shelter.
It's much cheaper to house someone than it is to provide them with emergency services throughout the year. We are definitely going to have community buy-in.
Harris agreed.
We need to start holding the politicians and the people that we voted into office accountable.
Harris quoted advice from a former coalition leader and how it guides her today.
You can channel that anger and channel your wisdom towards the coalition and fight for the rights for people who are experiencing homelessness so they don't have to go through what you and your family went through.
Community members helping our neighbors in need. David DiNicola, Northwestern News Network.
Volunteers are welcomed, and those interested in advocacy can text BCH to 313131 to find information about local representatives.
15-year-old Madison Harris is missing. She's the daughter of the speaker for the Chicago Coalition for the Homeless. According to Fox 32 Chicago, Madison, or Maddie, was last seen leaving her home on September 6 in Humboldt Park. She was wearing a dark blue long-sleeved shirt, black pants, and pink UGG slide shoes. Now, we do not know the circumstances of her disappearance at this time. Anyone with information is asked to contact Area 5 detectives at 312-746-6554.
Coming up, how Evanstonians are pushing for more accessibility for people with disabilities. We'll tell you about the city's next steps.
Plus, Northeastern Illinois Meals on Wheels hosted a pie drive in Evanston, giving residents a slice of holiday cheer. We'll be right back.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
It's been more than 30 years since the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA. Now, residents are working with the city to make Evanston even more accessible. Here's Lily Wolfson.
This fall, the beginning of Evanston's transition plan project to make the city accessible for all Evanstonians. Partnering with Altura Solutions, Evanston is reforming many of its facilities and city programming.
Accessibility translates into freedom for people. So if you can make the city of Evanston accessible, you're allowing a big part of the community to then have freedom to access all aspects of life within the city.
Public parks, restrooms, and sidewalks are among the facilities in the city of Evanston that community members are looking to make more accessible.
We're trying to understand where Evanston is now from an ADA accessibility perspective.
On November 18th, the city hosted its first public workshop at the Levy Senior Center, seeking feedback from residents about citywide accessibility.
Access isn't just about, the disability community.
Residents using stickers to identify areas in the city in most need of reform.
Making sure that that community has a voice at the city level so that improvements and items to address their concerns get implemented.
Workshop participant Amanda Rust says it's important to contribute as a person with a disability because most facilities are designed by people who don't have disabilities.
I'm a little bit more interested in proactive approaches instead of just reactive approaches. The last time I complained about the accessibility of something, they told me that I was wrong.
Evanston will draft its ADA transition plan by January 2022, and the final ADA transition plan will be announced in February. Lily Wolfson, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Lily. The city of Evanston will also host another public workshop in early 2022 to get more recommendations from residents.
Last week, Meals on Wheels held a pie drive to raise money and community awareness of the organization. They're a community-driven group dedicated to providing affordable meals to people with disabilities and medical conditions. NNN's Ellie Skelly has the story.
After 3 years of development, Meals on Wheels of Northeastern Illinois opens a new operation facility.
To take the best of programs from all over the country and build it here in Evanston is pretty cool.
Last week, the kitchen went to work baking pies for the inaugural Thanksgiving Pie Drive.
A chance to tell people in the community about us, and hopefully the pies will demonstrate it's really good quality food.
Volunteers old and young gathered in the kitchen last Tuesday to bake pies for the drive.
I've been delivering meals, I've been packing the food, and I've just started baking pies.
The pies cost $20 each and were available for pickup last Wednesday. The money went towards funding Meals on Wheels.
It's been so awesome. We sold 308, which is a lot more than we thought we would.
The kitchen opened mid-pandemic and aimed to serve 500 clients a year. That number is now 1,000.
One meal delivery per day can make a world of difference for someone who is feeling so isolated.
Meals on Wheels delivers both food and companionship. After making deliveries, volunteers call the recipient to check in and make sure all is well.
It's real life for them every day, so it's important that there's a little bit of socialization that goes on with the volunteers.
I'm here standing outside of the new Meals on Wheels kitchen, where cars are currently lining up to pick up their pies for the pie drive. I picked up my own chocolate bourbon pie. For more information on how to volunteer, donate, and get involved, head to the Meals on Wheels of Northeastern Illinois website. For Northwestern News Network, I'm Ellie Skelly.
Thanks, Ellie. With the new kitchen, clients get to choose between 2 meal options. The organization also accommodates a variety of dietary restrictions.
And with Christmas just over 3 weeks away, Evanstonians are working together to help local families get in the holiday spirit. NNN's Gabrielle Coriati has more on the city program spreading holiday cheer.
At Evanston's Fleetwood Jourdain Community Center, donations pile up for the mayor's holiday food book and toy drive, providing all families with the turkey, canned goods, and toys for their children.
Nobody is sitting at home saying, I wish I had a turkey, I wish I had food, I wish I had a couple of gifts under the tree. This event makes sure that we all are on the same level.
Kenneth Cherry, the point person for the drive, says it's his busiest time of year, but the drive's impact makes it worthwhile.
I have some people that are truly in need of these services, and when you can help those people and see it in their face, that makes your day.
Donation drop-off bins like this one here in the Evanston Public Library can be found throughout the city for Evanstonians to leave their holiday donations in.
We're still in need of everything.
The annual event, sponsored by Evanston Mayor Daniel Biss.
There are people who are struggling. There are people who are food insecure. There are people who do not have any extra cash lying around to give a gift to a child.
Biss's primary role in the drive, raising the funds to operate it.
The cause is not only a good cause and a enjoyable and meaningful cause, but also a cause that's right here at home.
Donation collection continues until December 10, and sign-ups to receive goods from the drive are open until the 13th.
It's a wonderful thing that everybody pulls together to make this happen.
A wonderful thing for the most wonderful time of the year. Gabrielle Coriati, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Gabrielle. This year's distribution will take place on December 15th, and because of COVID, it will be a drive-through in front of the Fleetwood Jourdain Community Center.
And coming up, Evanstonians ages 5 through 12 are eligible for the Pfizer vaccine. We introduce you to local parents lining their kids up for the shot.
And for the first time in nearly 20 years, Evanston is building a skate park. Stick around.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
At a press conference yesterday, President Biden says the new Omicron variant is, quote, cause for concern, but not cause for panic. Both Biden and the World Health Organization encourage vaccinations and booster shots. Earlier this week, President Biden imposed travel restrictions for non-U.S. citizens on 8 countries in Africa in hopes of stopping the spread of the new variant.
And speaking of vaccines, last month the FDA approved the Pfizer vaccine for kids ages 5 to 12. NNN's Brooklyn Moore takes a closer look at how Evanston families are responding.
Evanston parents are hopeful vaccinating their children will make life safer.
You know, he got in there the very first morning that that age group was eligible. So he's already had his first shot, and he was very proud of that, very proud of his little vaccination card with his name on it.
McGrath says it's a relief her 5-year-old is now vaccinated as their family is severely immunocompromised.
My husband is, he has a kidney transplant, so we're an immunocompromised house. So we were looking forward to this. It's not something we had any qualms about.
Many Evanston parents are just eager for normalcy.
So for instance, we've been holding off on swimming lessons because you can't wear a mask while you do swimming lessons.
Megan and her friends are very excited to be vaccinated and be able to get back to fun group activities.
You know, my daughter's friends all had their vaccine stickers at school that they'd gotten their vaccine.
McGrath's family is still cautiously optimistic.
So much just depends on people around us getting vaccinated, and in the foreseeable future, we're kind of just like in a different situation than a lot of other families. It's a community-wide effort.
Kristen Lindeberg, parent of 5th grader June, says her daughter had a hard year in 2020.
She did school from home the entire year for 4th grade, and that was a challenge for sure. Also, some of her sports were canceled that she liked to do.
Lindeberg is excited for June to get back to the things she loves, even if it means wearing a mask.
I do expect she will still wear a mask, and I'm totally fine with that. But it does give me more confidence about her, health.
Parents are excited to see their children vaccinated and looking forward to a better year. Brooklyn Moore, Northwestern News Network.
You can make a COVID-19 vaccination appointment at www.vaccine.gov.
Skateboarders are no strangers to Evanston streets, parking garages, and storefronts. But why do we see them everywhere except a skate park? Well, Evanston doesn't have one. In June, city officials decided to build Evanston's first permanent skate park since the early 2000s. I have the latest on this city project.
Light work.
If you've been downtown, you've probably seen or heard skateboarders whizzing by. But ever wondered why they skate in Evanston's public spaces like Fountain Square?
The youth really has nowhere to go, and this is just like the only flat ground area in the heart of the city.
Now an official city skate park is underway to keep skateboarders off the streets and on the ramps.
The city made the decision, we really need to prioritize this and give our young people a skate park.
The skate park to be located away from residences at the east end of Twiggs Park, a property leased from the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago, or the MWRD.
What I need is an open piece of ground with nothing on it. And that's what I have at Twiggs Park.
Lawrence Hemingway says the city has budgeted $1.25 million for the construction of the park. For now, a focus on the park's design.
At some point in 2023, we'll actually have a real skate park.
And forming an advisory board, Hemingway says will include a wide age range of Evanstonians with diverse demands for the skate park.
We made sure we reached out to the high school kids.
Since the demolition of the city skate park in the parking lot of the old Robert Crown Community Center, Evanston skaters have long relied on temporary skate parks. Today, a temporary skate park in Ridgeville Park District, home to Ridgeville ramps since summer 2020.
We call it the skate-friendly area.
Evanston skateboarders say Ridgeville serves as a community gathering place, but that it's not enough due to small size, modest equipment, and far distance, nearly a 30-minute walk from downtown Evanston.
We just want to skate. We just want to be kids.
For these kids, it won't be a walk in the skate park until the skate park's 2023 completion. Jenny Ha, Northwestern News Network. Stephanie Levine, an Evanston Senior Project Director, says the skate park design should be ready by spring or late spring and that public engagement will continuously be encouraged. I'll have a longer version of this story for our social media platforms, focusing more on the relationship between the young skateboarders and the city, coming soon.
For Evanston Township High School's annual Yamo production, the students are running the show. Yamo is an annual sketch comedy show written and directed by ETHS students. NNN Sabrina Carson takes us backstage.
Yes, I will!
Students from Evanston Township High School are preparing for their 64th annual Yamo production, a collection of singing, dancing, and acting performances.
It's our school's biggest production. And I feel like everyone really loves it. I really love it.
Students say hours are long, but worth it.
This work we're putting in is needed to make the show how good it's going to be.
Some even starting preparations at the end of last school year, now seeing their work come to fruition.
It's super rewarding to see the stuff you write and then you talk about it and then you iron it out and then you get to see it go up.
With last year's show made virtual due to COVID, this year marks their first real performance back in the theater.
I think really it's just like a new energy because we haven't done it in 2 years really. And I think it's just like a special excitement to like be back in the building.
With opening night less than 2 weeks away, students are perfecting their finishing touches and getting ready to break a leg. Sabrina Carson, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Sabrina. Tickets for this year's Yamo production have already sold out.
Local arts organization Evanston Made launched its holiday crafts market last month, bringing in around 500 people on some weekends, according to Evanston Made's founder. NNN's Liz Cassillo has more.
Evanston's arts community is ringing in the holiday season at the former Urban Outfitters downtown, showcasing local art, hosting hands-on activities or maker events, and running a gift shop.
All of our members were like, hey, when the weather gets cold and we can't do a pop-up in a parking garage anymore, where can we do a pop-up?
Evanston Made found the GW Properties venue through Downtown Evanston, a nonprofit supporting small businesses in the city.
We keep saying, if only Evanston Made could keep this space permanently as a gallery, because it's an absolutely incredible space. It looks like it's been made to show art.
A range of artists participated in this event, including the anonymous Evanston street artist, The Guy Who Cares.
I did have to give him access to the building when no one else was here, so that it was just me and him together, because then it would out his identity.
Evanston Made also prides itself on representing artists from all backgrounds.
We live in a very diverse community, full stop. Lots of places in the United States are diverse, but they still choose to only put forth majority culture, European culture. And so Evanston Made was very intentional in their DNA and makeup.
Those just stopping in can engage with the art themselves. Right now, I'm at the Art Connexus display, where you're able to add string to represent connection. Visitors say this event symbolizes Evanston's appreciation for local artists.
They've got a lot of creativity, and they're still standing.
Evanston Made wants to make its mark with hopes of engaging more artists throughout the city. Liz Cassillo, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Liz. The Shop Evanston Made Holiday Market will be open through December 19th at 921 Church Street. Coming up, we take a look into some of Evanston's history stored in 2 local museums.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
The Noise Cultural Arts Center is a home for local artists and organizations. NNN's Talia Kaleman takes us inside.
Cultural Arts Center, a building owned by the city of Evanston, houses more than 20 artists and organizations with specialties ranging from visual arts to performing arts to woodworking.
It's a little bit of a hidden secret.
Leah Pinsky is the executive director of Art Encounter, a nonprofit part of the Noise Cultural Arts Center for over 40 years.
So much stuff happens behind the doors. If you're walking around the hallways, sometimes you might think, wow, it's pretty quiet around here, but you just have to get to know the people who are here.
At Noise, individual artists and organizations like Art Encounter rent space in the building, which they often use to create art, hold classes or lessons. The building also has a full theater and 2 art galleries.
Providing artists a home, I believe, is a great resource that the city provides.
It's an undervalued resource.
Maggie Weiss, a textile artist and Evanston resident of over 20 years, has a studio inside the center and sometimes recruits summer camp participants for art projects.
So the faces that are behind me on the big mural where there's all those kids' faces back here, those were all kids who were in different camps. So that way I was able to give the kids a fun thing to do with textiles and generate work for work that's going to go in the building.
More than a home, residents say art benefits the entire community.
I think that art has the ability to help us find meaning and make meaning of the chaos of our lives.
A local hidden gem, beautiful on the inside and out. Talia Kaleman, Northwestern News Network.
The Noise Cultural Arts Center also houses 2 art galleries displaying work from resident artists and artists everywhere. Admission is free.
Evanston is on the eastern side of Lake Michigan, but we're not immune to lake effect snow when the wind blows west. So how do warming waters factor in? Here's what I found out. Winter is coming, but this year the lake is warmer than usual. And that may be bad news for winter blues.
As you can see right now, we're kind of in a lull. I hate to say sometimes it's the lull before the storm.
That's Donald Cornelius, the street supervisor for Evanston's Public Work Agency. Or in his words,
I am the snow commander.
He oversees Evanston's snowplows and winter weather response. And this year, they're preparing for winter weather to pack a punch.
Always prepare for whatever Mother Nature wants to bring us.
That's because warmer waters can cause more lake effect snow.
Water vapor lifts up off the lake. It condenses with the colder air temps.
So how does this work? Warmer lake temperatures create more water vapor, which rises. And in the winter, that often comes down as snow.
There's good records on the effects of climate change on the Great Lakes. So there's been, of course, general warming.
But climate change doesn't only warm the lake's waters, it also means less ice cover.
The period of ice cover on the lakes is much less than it used to be.
According to the EPA, less ice can mean more water evaporation, which can mean more snow.
When things warm up and you don't have ice and snow, then you can go back to a lot more storms.
Dr. Packman also says climate change causes warm winds to come up from the south, which can lead to more rainstorms.
As climate change impacts home here, one of Evanston's young climate justice activists attended the United Nations Climate Change Conference, or COP26, in Glasgow, Scotland.
It's also made clear that local actions do have big impacts. I mean, we have what we do impacts surrounding suburbs, impacts Chicago.
Evanston has 7 museums right here within its borders. NNN's Andrew Rowan checks in with 2 of them.
One of the owners had made a custom suede suit.
The Shorefront Legacy Center, a treasure trove of Chicago's suburban North Shore Black communities.
This is 1971. And they still had a sample of what they were selling at the time.
Dino Robinson started this archive in 2002 and has welcomed researchers from all levels.
So high school students doing term papers to independent researchers and authors.
The pandemic closed the physical collection's doors for a time being, but Robinson said educational talks continued online. And the collection itself, it grew massively.
Families are going through their things for the first time because of staying at home and saying, oh my gosh, I have all this stuff. What am I going to do with it?
All that stuff filling 12 shelves.
This whole section here basically has grown over the last 2 years.
And while the organization is currently in a church basement,
but we also know we have a dream to be on street level space.
Over at the Mitchell Museum of the American Indian.
Yeah, the last year has been, it's been crazy, it's been exciting.
The museum, which highlights art, history, and culture of the Native American and First Nation people, is now open twice a week. The doors opened again in August.
The first person came in at 11:30, and we were so excited to see that. I think we scared them a little bit when they came in.
But Executive Director Kim Biju says the museum has become so much more than just a physical space during the pandemic, thanks to online programming.
We want to reach people very young to very old, so I think in person and virtual is the perfect way to do that.
2 museums documenting the past, adjusting to the present, to inform future visitors. Andrew Rowan, Northwestern News Network.
You can scan either QR code on your screen right now to be taken to either museum's website, where you can get more information on ticketing and hours. We'll be right back.
Coming up, Evanston residents take flight at the Actors Gymnasium, where a variety of circus arts classes are available.
Go you Northwestern, go Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Have you ever wanted to defy gravity? If you can't make it to outer space, there might be something a little more local at the Actors Gymnasium right here in Evanston. Here's NNN's Julia Richardson.
Whether you're just starting out,
I just started at the beginning of the term.
You grew up in the circus,
I was on Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus,
or anything in between.
I'm a part of like an ensemble where there's 14 of us.
Here at the Actors Gymnasium, anyone can learn to fly.
Everyone is welcome.
The gym offers a variety of circus arts classes for all ages, including aerial arts, contortion, juggling, and more.
That's it, good.
Co-founder and artistic director Sylvia Hernandez says one of her goals in starting the gym was to create the same sense of community she's always known.
I grew up in a circus, which is very communal. So it's like everybody knows each other, and it's really all you know.
But even if it isn't all you know, there is still a place for you.
I'm a local actor, and I decided that having a new skill set would be really cool.
I'll show you the most simple thing in the world, okay?
Newcomer Vero Minez says circus arts pushes her further than she ever imagined.
I've gotten like a lot of confidence. There's been a lot of falling, but you know, it's padded, so it's cool.
The gymnasium also partners with Chicago theater companies for productions. Those with performing arts backgrounds, like pro training program member Austin Rambo, come here to bolster their skills.
Like the theater world, if someone's gonna ask me to do something, I wanna be able to do literally anything.
But participants gain a lot more than just skill.
If you come into this space and you're a little bit shy or you're a little bit scared and you conquer those fears, and it just gives you that little edge to do the next thing that scares you.
And no matter what level you are, people at the gym will always be here to support you on your climbs. Julia Richardson, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Julia. For any of our viewers interested in starting their circus careers, the Actors Gymnasium offers a free trial class. Megan, we should go to one of these free trial classes.
I would be so down, Jenny, just watching that story and watching Julia climb at the end. So cool.
Yeah.
Now, you were there producing for her.
I was.
Did you do any of those?
Unfortunately not. It was intimidating for me. I am not flexible. I am not acrobatic in any way, so I stayed on the ground.
Okay, well, we'll go to that class to start.
Yes, for sure.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks so much for tuning in to our special edition of the Northwestern News Report, Evanston Beyond Northwestern. I'm Megan Leibowitz.
And I'm Jenny Ha. From all of us here at NNN, good night, and we'll see you next quarter.